how do you know that the walrus is angry? And he just doesn't always look like.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, Walter, revenge trading. I know some traders do it. I haven't really suffered from that, but let's talk about that and see first of all, why do people do it? And what are some ways to overcome it?
Well, to me, it's kind of like the same reason why, as humans, we will look at different animals and we'll give them human characteristics. There's actually a really fancy word for that, and I can't remember what it is. But like, it's where they do that in Disney movies, right? They take animals and they make them look human. And we do that when we see animals. Like, you go to the zoo and you go, "Oh, look at that walrus. He's so angry," and like, but you like, how do you know that the walrus is angry? And he just doesn't always look like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
To me, that's a weird thing. And we do the same thing, I think, with the markets, where it's like, you little pound, you got me this time, next time I'm gonna get you, sort of thing. It becomes this thing where it's like, I'm gonna get back at the pound because the pound has been beating me up and taking my money. That's just a license to get off the like, you're gonna be off your plans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get way outside of that. And
now it's personal.
Yeah, it's personal. The other way it comes up, though, is brokers. Like, you'll hear people say, "Oh, my broker got me again," or whatever. I will say that there are brokers that do that, especially in Forex.
Yeah.
But it's not the norm, and you can usually figure out who they are really quickly by the reviews. So when you see these reviews where these brokers are just getting hammered, all the brokers get hammered in the reviews, actually, but the ones that get really hammered, those are the ones that you want to stay away from. And sometimes you can kind of tell when someone gives a broker a bad rating. You can see, like, they're like, well, what they're saying is completely ridiculous. Like, like, I'm actually on the side of the broker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So you can get spiked and things like that. And so you're like, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get my money back and stuff like that. But it's really important for you to just determine, like, what are you trying to do as a trader? Are you trying to make money out of the strategy that you've tested and has a really good chance of working? Or are you trying to get back at the broker, the currency pair, trying to prove your boyfriend or girlfriend wrong that, you can make it out of trading? Like, what is your real motivation? And I think the closer you are aligned to following your rules and actually following that path, I think the better off you are. But that's
totally.
Yeah.
Totally, for sure. And I think it really boils down to ego, right? Like, we want to prove something, like you said, and our ego can't let go of it. And we need to get back at them, or get back at whatever we perceive to be the culprit or cause us to lose. So what do you think are some ways to get over that?
To get over it? First of all, what you said is, I totally agree with. The female traders typically don't have as much an issue with that. They're really good at letting go of ego. Typically, not always, right? Typically, they don't have the ego that men do. And you'll see this when you go to see trading gurus talk. The men will talk about all the money they made and how good they are and how they did this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're setting yourself up for a failure. At the time that we're recording this, there's a really famous dude on Twitter who trades stocks, and he's made a boatload of money. And the last couple of days, he's lost 4.5 or 4.2 million or something like that, because he's letting his ego take over. And he's saying, like he says, the stocks only go up. And if you have any, rule number 1, stocks go up and they only go up. Rule number 2, if you have any questions about what to do on a trade, see rule number 1. And so what he's doing is he's really setting himself up for a life-altering loss.
Hey there, I hope you're finding this episode useful. I just wanted to let you know that Walter and I give away something valuable every month that helps traders improve their skills. You can enter to win by simply leaving an iTunes review and leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. At the end of each month, we'll look at the comments and reviews from the month, and we'll pick a winner at random. Each comment and each review counts for 1 entry during the month that it's submitted. So if you're interested in that, be sure to enter after this podcast is over. All right, back to the episode.
And if you read the Market Wizards books, you'll hear all the stories about these guys who went through that. So how do you get rid of ego? Okay, what you need to do is you need to become your own manager, or have a manager, one or the other, or probably both. So one, to become your own manager is rate your score on entry and rate your trade on exit. Okay, and objectively look at that every week, every month, every quarter, every year. How are you tracking? You can keep it in a spreadsheet, see how you're going, how your rating's going. The other thing you do is every week you can talk to someone else and have them do the same thing and say, well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do with your system on 3 out of your 5 trades. So what's going on here, buddy? Right? Like that's another way. So what you're trying to do is step out of yourself and see your performance from another's point of view. This is why the professional traders, when I say professional, I mean like the job, the guys that's their job at the bank or the fund.
Traders,
yeah, they have someone looking after them. They all do. And when they leave, they don't, right? When they go home and trade with their own money, they don't anymore, okay? And let's look at the difference between performance. So you can create that yourself where you have someone else. You can try to do it yourself with your journal and rate your entries and exits and rate your performance on the execution side, but you can also get these sort of reports from somebody else that you trust, and you can do the same thing. It's a trading buddy sort of thing. I try to connect people with trading buddies in the forum, and it's a really good way. Like just every week, man, just work on one thing. What's the one thing that you tell your trading buddy you're going to work on this week? Simple as that. And then at the end of the week, how did you do? Did you do it? What? Show me. Let me see the trades. Let me see the data. Even if the one thing is just I'm going to backtest 100 trades this week. It doesn't even have to be live trading. It can be backtesting or whatever. So yeah, that's what I would recommend to do is offload the responsibility of knocking down your ego to someone else. They're much better at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Exactly.
they'll tell you the truth. You need someone who's truthful, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we both know several bank traders who could trade well at the bank, but when they leave, it's really difficult, right? And it's part of that system. Now, I would also add, like, I think it helps to physically imagine yourself like separate from yourself almost, and like observing yourself as like a third party, and that helps me to get more objective about what I'm looking at.
Yeah, like a camera. So
Yeah.
so I think it's I've read about this when I was on my trading sabbatical. Yeah, so you kind of like back in 2004, I don't know if it's NLP or maybe it was NLP, but the idea that you kind of see, like you say, like you're there trading. And I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, man, I looked at myself and I felt like I was addicted. Like I felt like I watched myself trading in my setup, and I had this really comfortable chair, and I was sitting at it like every night. And I just thought, man, like you're just sitting there in that chair the whole time. What are you doing? Like, and that's when I kind of moved away from trading the lower time frames. I just thought, I realized, number one, that all my best trades were the ones where I didn't sit and watch it. And so I kind of walked away. And thing number two was doing that technique you just said, which is a great technique, because I kind of objectively saw, man, my body is going to mold into that chair. Like I am going to, you know what I mean? I am going to be like, I'm going to turn into Jabba the Hutt because... and I would fool myself because all day I was surfing, I was going, doing whatever I wanted. And then at night around 6 o'clock is when I would sit down in that chair and just lock into the computer. And I'd be there from like 6 till 2 a.m. It was crazy, man. So, yeah, so I just thought this is not a good idea. And so that can definitely help. You could ask other people. People, I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be, I don't, with your trading accountability partner, you want someone who's a trader, but it could be someone doesn't really understand trading. And you can ask them about, what do you think about, my trading or how I'm, because then you might get a perspective about, they might say something that'll shock you. Like, are you really happy? Like, is this really what you want to do? Like, you know what I mean? You always seem so upset, or, they could give you some sort of weird insight that you hadn't even considered.
Yeah. Because if you're in it, like there's a certain amount of dogma associated with any type of activity or profession. And some people get brainwashed into that. But when you get an opinion from somebody else from the outside, then you can get something that's fresh and something that's not necessarily part of that dogmatic thinking, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Walter.
Thanks.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.